Plaintiff Josefina Torres says the defendant is her younger brother, and she's always been more like a mother to him. Josefina claims she was always there for her brother when he got into trouble, and she even allowed him to move into a room on her property. However, she's suing him today for unpaid utilities and emotional distress. Defendant Carmelo Felix admits that Josefina helped him out, and he always appreciated it. But it got to a point where she was acting too much like a mother and treating him like a child. Carmelo insists he's turned his life around and is currently enrolled in college, and he doesn't believe he owes Josefina anything.
Prove your case.
He is my younger brother. I am 7 years older than him. We grew up together. It was more like a second mom to him, being we grew up in a single family home, and we were very close, always been very close. And, you know, always came for me for advice, and I always try to help him out as much as I possibly could, you know, whatever it was that he needed. If I could provide it, I'd do so. He then was getting into some trouble. So when I moved into my home, he asked me if he can rent the room I had in my backyard for him. And I said, sure. You know, if it keeps you out of trouble and you can start making good decisions with your life and move forward, which he has been doing. I'm very proud of him for that.
Good.
Very proud. He's in school, you know, he works, and I'm really, really proud to see that, you know, he's got himself out of the wrong direction. He's going into becoming a man.
Let me hear from him then, before we get to the utilities you're suing him about. Because Queens is a tough town. That's where you all are from?
Yeah.
Queens, New York?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
She did help me out a lot, you know, appreciate that. But it came down to a point where, you know, she started playing the mother role a little too much, and, you know, I am a grown man, so that's where the problem actually started.
How long ago?
That was about, well, it's actually always been like that. It just got worse me living there. So.
When did you become a grown man?
It's supposed to be 18, but I'm 22 now, so
Okay. My definition of a grown man is a person who can take care of themselves.
Yeah, that's what I was
Don't
doing.
have to live off nobody. Don't have to live with anybody. You say you're living with her.
Actually, I was paying rent, so I was living actually on my own. I did not eat in her house elsewhere.
Since what age? 18?
Since about, no, when I moved out of my mother's house at 21.
Okay, so you became grown when you were 21?
When I was on my own, yes, sir.
Okay, you said 18. I just wanted to clarify.
Well, I was living over there for about a year. And the whole time I was there.
When did you move out from her?
I moved out in September.
Okay, so you've only been a man since September.
No, that's a month.
Yeah, 1 month.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Let's move on, sir. Tell me about how you've changed your life around.
Well, she told me the rent is $350. I gave her the $350 every month. She never mentioned
Whose
anything.
name was the house in or apartment?
The house actually belongs to my mother-in-law.
Okay, but you all split all expenses and he paid his share?
He was renting the unit in the backyard.
He paid his share?
Yes, he did.
Since when?
Since July of 2008.
Okay, so why are you still ordering him around?
I'm not ordering him around now.
Well, then stop butting in on his business. Taking care of himself, he paying you rent, you paying your rent. I guess he's just not paying his utilities. That's what you're suing about today. So let's get to your turnaround. Tell me how you did that. A lot of young people want to know, I'm sure, how you turn yourself around living in a tough neighborhood in Queens.
It was the project. So, you know, growing up in the projects, there's always pressure and there's always... So
I know. That's why I want to know how you escaped it.
That was my escape.
You were able to overcome it because you moved out of the area where all the peer pressure was.
Exactly.
All right, that's what young people want to know.
Mm-hmm.
That was the same thing with me. I grew up in the project, same with you, got in trouble until I moved out. And when I moved out, I went to college. And there were
exactly what I did.
No thugs in college. So I had nothing to do but what my peers in college did. Go to college.
Exactly.
So what are you doing now?
I'm actually attending technical TCI.
Good.
I'm going for computer networking.
Okay, good.
Major.
I always advocate churches as a safe haven and after school programs. That's why they're so important. So young people, once they leave that schoolhouse, they can go directly to a safe haven where they don't have to deal with all the peer pressure. And that's why I wanted folks to know how you overcome it. Thank you. Why does he owe you for utilities?
Well, during the course of him living in the back unit, from July of 2008 to February of 2009, he was renting that unit. His electricity was combined with mine on my first floor. During that time, he would run the air conditioner all day and the heater throughout the winter because there was no heat.
No, let's get to the agreement on payment first. We have a clear agreement on rent. He was to pay you $350.
That's correct.
What was the clear agreement on utilities?
We didn't make an agreement on the utilities until I got the bill, and I addressed him about it, and I said, you have, the air conditioner is pushing my utility bill pretty high, and I'm gonna need some help for you to pay that because I can't afford to do it on my own.
What did he say?
What did he say? He says, oh, I can't pay that right now because they weren't reading the meter every month because I wasn't home during the daytime.
But he never agreed to pay. That's what you're getting to?
No, he said when I could pay you, I would, but never agreed to pay it.
What do you want to say, sir?
Actually, I have right here a letter signed by her stating that, stating basically I take care of myself and that I don't pay any utilities.
This letter is to verify that Carmelo is renting a room, he buys his own food, and doesn't pay any utilities.
I can address that.
Please do.
Depending on the date of that letter, okay, that is correct.
Tell me when you told him you needed him to pay.
During the courses of when he was renting.
When?
Okay.
You say depending on the date of this letter.
And February 2009.
That's when you told him he had to pay.
That is correct. When he first.
This is March 20th of 2009. Much later than that. Secondly, ma'am, there's no agreement. So if there's no agreement, you can't collect. You have to have an agreement to collect. You can't say, oh, you ran the electricity. You used too much air. Can't do that, ma'am. Your emotional distress is for what?
During the course of him living at my residence, he had a girlfriend who was there. They would argue a lot. I would have to come down, try to mediate the situation because I do have two younger kids who adore my brother very much. And I didn't want them to see them arguing so much. I would get involved. Sometimes it caused him and I to argue. And I feel like because you have used these utilities, you should.
Let me just tell you what burden you have to prove to collect for emotional distress. He must commit some act that is extreme, outrageous, and extraordinary. So much so that it caused you severe stress. Everything you've just described to me is very typical. It's not extreme, it's not outrageous, and it's not extraordinary for people not to pay their bills and for people to argue with their girlfriends while they're living with someone else. So I can't grant your judgment at all, ma'am. Case dismissed. Have a good day. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
I want to say, my brother, that he knew that letter was to help him out at a point, and he used that against me, and he knows that he should have helped me pay those utility bills because he knows that I have two children that I do take care of by myself, and he should have helped me do that.
I don't know if you know how it is to be in New York City, but it's very expensive. And nobody gives me any money. You can say that nobody loans me anything. I'm on my own.